What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Infamous Project. It is a Monday late afternoon here. I have finished working on normal working stuff, and now it's time to mess around and have a little bit of fun. Maybe get some real quick fulfillment on getting something to run that hasn't been on the road since 2010. So what we have here sitting behind me is a 1993 DPS coupe. So DPS means Department of Public Safety here in Texas, also known as what would be an SSP car. And it's pretty cool because it's 93, so last year of the Fox, and there was 200 DPS cars to Texas in 93. Funny enough, they didn't have any in 92 or 91, and I believe they had 203 in 90 or something like that. So they went a couple of years without any, splurged and got 200 cars in the last year of the Fox, and one of those is sitting right here. And it's been validated through the SSP sort of registry project thing that somebody sent me the link to. Actually, Mike Medley sent me the link to that. Thank you, Mike. Also known as OneFast50 on Instagram. So I personally do not know much about SSP cars. I know that they have their intricacies and things like the blue hoses, and they have the calibrated 140-mile-an-hour speedo. They got ground straps in weird places, like in the trunk lid and everywhere else. I think there's like reinforcements in the seat or something. Single key entry, and this actually does have the one key that works all the locks. The trunk release is down underneath right there. And I'm sure there's more, guys. This is one of those times, rare times, when it comes to a Fox body, where I can just be like, I don't know it all. Like, I know a lot about Fox bodies, but honestly, guys, there are people out there that know a million times more than me. And especially when it comes to an SSP car, I don't know that much. However, I do know that this car is going to be available for sale, and it has a clean blue Texas title waiting for a new owner. Now, with that said, the owner is probably going to want to know if it runs, and well, I don't even know if it runs. It ran when it was parked. The gentleman who owns the car was driving the car on a daily basis, and it has a set of, well, had a set of underdrive pulleys, or sort of still has. So what happened is the crank underdrive itself actually snapped some of the bolts, and the pulley came right off. And I've actually got the pulley with one of the snap bolts. So the snap bolts are sitting in the balancer, which means probably just going to swap the balancer. That's going to be the easiest thing instead of trying to drill and do whatever else, and probably just put the stock crank pulley back on it. And what else does the car need? Clutch cable. There's something wonky with the clutch cable. He said he thought that maybe it had slipped or knocked a couple teeth off the factory quadrant. I stuck my hand up there. It's got a billet quadrant on it. I'm going to show you guys, there's some body work that's been done on the roof here, and it's kind of broke out in different places. So unfortunately, this car was victim of hail damage. Hail damage is very common in northern Texas, and that's exactly what happened to this car. So it's seen some work. Now, in reality, the whole car needs to be gone over. It's straight, it's solid, it's all here. Somebody did cut out the rear wheel wells for tire clearance, you know, somebody race car stuff. It's got long tubes, an X pipe, Flowmaster cap back on it. The quarter windows, despite, you know, all this, actually aren't that bad, and it's probably because, you know, they looks like they painted them when they painted the car, and honestly it probably protected and kept them, you know, safe. Now here is My man, KSD Notch, Ken, we know you need a rear glass for your notch that does not have rear defrost in it. So there's one right here. Factory car light, guys. So some bad tint on it, but the glass is still good. There is some rust in the trunk lid, but the underside of this car is solid. It's clean. The door posts, those are solid. The frame rails are solid. So it's actually, door even closes nice and tight. Like I said, it's a solid car. So welcome to the engine bay. Frame rails are good. No crumple zone action, nothing like that. Radiator support's in good shape. So it's nice to see a notch, especially one such as this, in such nice condition. Now, the only thing is, this bumper was red, so I have a feeling the front bumper cover has been changed. So maybe it had a light tap, maybe it was sagging, maybe God knows what. The hood still has its VIN. It's 118. The front fenders actually have them. They're just oversprayed. Let's see here. Well, hood is a different hood, and maybe that was due to hail damage. See, I got where some of the equipment was mounted here. Not sure why this is off. All right, so last time the car started, I couldn't tell you, over a decade ago. Not sure how the car was stored really. I think it was outside. I guess first things first, you know, we need a battery, so we need to be able to put some power in here. Probably pop the main fuel rail off just to see, you know what I mean, if the pump comes on, we don't, you know, want a bunch of crap, if there is crap in the bottom of the tank coming through. The belt is off because it's missing that crank pulley that I was telling you guys about. Actually, I think there was supposed to be like a heavy duty clutch fan on SSP cars. Not sure there. Also can't tell if this is blue or if that's been changed. Well, everything moves. Even the pollution pump moves. Vacuum lines, our HVAC one is cracked. That's pretty typical. So we have a vacuum leak over there by default. Like there's some weird oil filter. Oh, there's an oil cooler. Or a remote. Well, it's not a remote, but yeah, no, there's an oil cooler on the oil filter housing there. I'm trying to see where those lines go right here. Oh, interesting. Okay. I don't know if that's an SSP thing, but yeah, that's shit, some interesting routing of coolant hoses. I've never seen that before. Let's go get fuel line disconnect, and we'll get the little booster pack, and we'll put some power to this thing, and let's see what happens. Let's see here. Let us see here. It still actually has the clips on it. Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus. Guys, we still have pressure in the line. Whew. It doesn't smell that great, but it looks pretty clean. Yeah, that smells nasty. Whew. So, let's what do we got here? Let's see. Finally figured out how you can override this guy. If you hold this button down, there we go. No door chime. Huh. It's kind of weird. So the weird thing is, if I turn the ignition like to the start position, everything gets power the way that it should normally, but there's nothing in the run position. Oh, the old red button, guys. Yeah, that'll do it. So, see, I can't sneak that back on there. All right. Look at this nice rat's nest. So these wires, the blue and the green, going all the way over to the passenger side, and they're also going over to the driver's side. Leads me to believe that the car had, this is probably getting power for the lights. Not sure. Let's signal for the door when it opens, probably. And not sure what that was for, but trunk release. There we go, guys. What kind of alarm was this? Always loved how the brain tells you exactly what wire does what on the back. Just, you know, in case you had a little bit of extra time, you could easily figure out how to bypass all that. But hey, I've got a couple of relays, some fuses. Always nice to have that stuff laying around. So I'm just gonna look in the engine bay, see if I can figure out those two black wires. Oh, here we go. Yeah, they were bypass. Alright, let's pull these out. I think this is that other wire I was messing with, maybe? No, maybe not. Oh, here. Huh. Random wire. Something's weird here because they had this hooked up instead of this to this button. Of course, this is for the trunk release. So what is this going to? We've got rid of some wires. Aha! Awesome. So now things work properly in the run position. And it sounds like we have a bad starter solenoid. Of course, I really don't think it has any fuel. Well, just want to see here if we have any funky business going on with any of the fuel pump wires or anything like that. Aha, what the hell is this? Oh, I don't know what that is. There's that ground strap I was talking about earlier, guys. SSP specific feature. Okay, just want to check and see. Like, the reality is, oops, I should go get my test light. The tank. I don't even hear the pump trying to come on, so it probably needs a pump in reality. I can hear the pump like ever so slightly. Clicking, but there is no way that that pump's gonna work in there. So we've got to drop the tank. And while I was in here, I noticed we have a sticker, protective part. So looks like this car has seen quarter panel. Interestingly enough, if you look over here on this side, I think is, I don't see a sticker, but yeah guys, we've definitely had a replacement here. See some seam sealer, and maybe that explains whatever's, oop, might as well open it up. Somewhere in there. I'm disclosing stuff as I find it for you guys. So yeah, we need to drop the tank. Not overly excited about having to do that, but opportunity to get fresh fuel and everything else. So I'm gonna go ahead, jack it up. Might as well just pop it out real quick while we're out here. Ooh. Oh, it got me. Oh my God. Disgusting. Oh, I cannot believe. Look at this. Shot fuel right at me. It reeks. Oh, amazingly, it's somewhat clean looking still. I can't believe there's still pressure in those lines. I guess just, you know, if everything's sealed up and the heat and everything else, there's going to be pressure and vapors. So let me get that return line off and this tank will be out. And oh, now I smell. Whew. know why this pump wasn't working. Pickup is definitely seen better days as well. Unreal. Well guys, I think that's all she wrote for tonight. And I would think if you really wanted to, maybe you could take the sending unit out and the pickup and get rid of that nasty fuel, pressure wash the inside and maybe get it cleaned up in there. But I feel like there's probably a lot of rust, a lot of corrosion. So for the $100 just to get a new tank, get a new pickup, get new grommet and everything else, that way we know what we got. Get a new sending unit in there so we have a functional fuel gauge. Gonna need a starter solenoid up here because this guy's just clicking. I'll fix up some of the wiring, those vac lines, and then ultimately I need to get my puller on the balancer there, which means I'll probably end up having to take the probably the clutch fan and the fan shroud out. And I should be able to get my impact in there with the puller. And then probably just easiest to swap out the balancer instead of trying to mess around with extracting the bolts. Actually, I meant to show you guys that since it was. Had it in the back here. So, oh, here's the underdrive. Look at that. One, I think there was two actually. Yep, there's another one. So I don't know if somebody torqued down on them too hard or something else happened, who knows. But yeah, I'll get the balancer changed, get a proper pulley on the bottom, not even worry about the underdrive stuff, and hopefully get this car to fire up. So stay tuned.